Good evening, Capitol Conference. If you didn't already know, my name is Nashi, and I am running for governor on the basis of helping facilitate the Capitol Conference, but also you guys in your schools outside of the Capitol Conference. I believe that civic engagement is crucial, especially at a time when our generation is faced with some of the most challenging issues in our century. This is why I not only want to address these issues inside of the conference, but also outside of it. As governor, I will offer aid to each individual school in the process of running a YIG chapter. As I believe that, above all else, a greater awareness of these issues comes first, before the issues themselves. Awareness is necessary to facilitate change. So while I will tackle each individual issue up here tonight, just know that I believe in not only solving these issues, but also promoting widespread awareness of these problems. After all, there is no use of a governor without a well-educated legislature. Thank you. Because last year, if you didn't know, I was part of GovCap, Commissioner of Education, and I actually got to talk to Grace Shelton, who is the Deputy Chief of Staff for the Department of Education, about this. And what we need to do, starting right now, is to reform the basic education program. If you all didn't know, the basic education program is basically the system that Tennessee has to fund schools. And what this does is it gives urban schools a large portion of those funds and rural schools a small portion of funds. So while I agree with Atticus's statements, I also first just want to reform the basic education program so that both rural and urban schools can be funded. Because there's also a teacher shortage in rural areas, and it's actually more prevalent in rural areas rather than urban areas. So we need to have every area on the same playing field. And in order to do that, we need to reform the basic education program immediately, along with increasing teacher funding. Thank you. Voter turnout was actually another one of my big issues, and some of the ideas I have for increasing voter turnout is to allow an option for mail-in ballots, because mail-in ballots are incredibly important, especially when you're trying to extend the voter age to all ages. Mail-in ballots can help with that. And additionally, it's incredibly important that we increase voting centers in both rural and urban areas, because disadvantaged areas have less voter centers than urban areas. Additionally, we need to expand early voting in Tennessee. Right now, currently in many states, there are bills to shorten early voting, but I believe that this strategy does not work when you're trying to increase voter turnout, especially in a state that has such a low voter turnout, and especially in a state that encompasses such a wide range of diversity. Finally, I believe that advertising the virtual options for voting and advertising virtual registration is incredibly important and is especially influential when you're considering the age group from 18 to 25 years old. Because let's be honest, the future starts with the youth, and right now it starts with that age range of 18 to 25-year-olds. Thank you. I'd like to focus on a few questions that have puzzled me over the course of the few months. Why are legislators so focused on banning books rather than focusing on catching rural schools back up? Why are they so focused on controlling our thoughts instead of teaching us valuable material and improving our education system? Why is there a national teacher shortage, but our legislators currently are debating banning books? Delegates, I want to give you a reminder of what education is. Education is to get a wide variety of perspectives. You can't have a wide variety of perspectives without books. I read The Giver when I was in 8th grade, and if The Giver had been banned in 8th grade, I think it would have drastically affected my education. I'm also a huge book nerd, so this issue truly speaks to me, and I'm truly affected by this issue. I believe that Republican legislators do not have the right to control how we think. And I believe in our education system and improvements in our education system. Thank you. the rise of homelessness. Because if you didn't know, Tennessee has the third largest rise of homelessness in the nation, and this has been worsened by the pandemic. I believe that housing programs should be initiated in order to help create affordable housing. Additionally, I believe that like other states have done, we should set a cap on how much landlords can raise rent, like a percentage that sets how much landlords can raise rent. Because I believe that this creates the basis of affordable housing. Additionally, Tennessee is starting to follow states like New York, who have placed barriers in benches in order to stop people from sleeping on those benches. And Tennessee actually was the first state to legalize public camping. I believe that these issues don't fix the problem, but rather push it aside. They make them sleep somewhere else so that our Tennessee legislators don't see the damage that they have done. Additionally, I believe that the housing crisis can be solved by effectively working together to find solutions for affordable housing, rather than just pushing homeless people aside like they're just some inconvenience. In fact, some homeless people have reported that they've lost the right to live. So I believe together as the Youth in Government Conference, we can create legislation that effectively addresses this and that focuses on affordable housing rather than dehumanizing homeless people. Thank you. So I come from Chattanooga, which is known for the Chattanooga Choo Choo, by the way. Let's be honest, we all like trains, but the problem is our infrastructure is breaking down. Right now, Tennessee needs $62.9 billion worth of public infrastructure improvements. In fact, its railroad systems are breaking down, and right now, currently, Tennessee has considered, and I have the emphasis on considered, the pursuit of an Amtrak rail line connecting all 4 major cities. That's Knoxville, Memphis, Nashville, Chattanooga. I am in full support of this Amtrak rail line because not only will it improve our infrastructure, but it also contributes to our environment. Traveling by train cuts heavily on the environmental pollution created by CO2 emissions in cars and buses. And I believe that this Amtrak rail line that Tennessee is considering will heavily impact our state of Tennessee, especially coming from a city that has so much emphasis on railroads. This issue means so much to me. And I echo what all the other candidates have said, but I'm in pursuit of the specific issue and specific improvement of this Amtrak rail line, as well as rail lines in other cities as well. Because I believe that public infrastructure starts with bridges, starts with roads, but also it starts with our environmental infrastructure, because we also need to consider the environmental impact that we have through our infrastructure as well. So while Tennessee does need $62.9 billion worth of infrastructure improvements, I say, why not start now? Why not start building a better future now?
Thank you, Delegate.
I see a room full of progressive change and bright futures. I see the place I sat when I first entered this room. I remember the first bill I wrote, and I remember the thrill of debate. We all have a commonality in this room. We all have experienced the same feeling of being in YIG for the first time. I ran for governor under the hope of bringing this shared feeling to more people, to have more raised placards and more adrenaline rushes, to hear more laughs and more nights at the cherished Assembly Food Hall. I know some of you, but I believe that to all of you, I believe all of you think that this conference means much more than just a conference. This particular conference marks the 70th anniversary of YIG. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. And if I'm elected, I will work hard for all of you to have better conferences. Tomorrow, you should not feel trashy because hopefully you'll be voting for Nashi.